Welcome to Engineering Scale Models, where the details live. How's everybody doing today? Today we are going to take a look at tools to be on the lookout for. These are the top tools that I found highly useful in 2019. They're going to be, majority of them, photo etch related, but I have some other tools that are not photo etch related, like some sanding implements and some gluing stuff and some other implements like that I found extremely useful in 2019. These are not tools that have come out in 2019. These are just tools that have come very useful in 2019 to me. And some are old, very old. People have them and you've been using them forever. But for me, I'm going to talk about them anyways, just to show you guys what has been popular on my tool bench. So we are going to go to this camera here, and you'll be able to see all the tools laid out in the corner. First things first, these are in no particular order, so I'm just going to talk about them as I grab them. This right here, this is a engraving vise. It is for using for jewelry engraving and things like that. It has an Allen key that opens and closes it. It has a array of different heads of different shapes and sizes, so you can clamp different size pieces. This is a must-have. I find it working with removing details and having to sand parts, even applying photo etch like this gun turret here. I was able to clamp it in here, like quick example, and then I was able to move it around and get it in the position I wanted to apply the photo etch at any angle I wanted. It is fantastic. It's not connected to its base. You mainly have to slide it around. That's, I wish you could pick it up and things like that. There are other vices that do similar things like this, but this has the most fluid movement. You can lock it down. You can make it tighter or looser. You can pivot it. It is nice. It's heavy, so you don't want to pick it up and hold it in your hand, but for getting it in the right position and manipulating it on the bench, it is a great tool for that. That is it's fantastic. Next tool that has come in super handy, and this is going to be gluing and photo etch related type of tools. So this is going to be some glue stuff. I got this at the dollar store. It's tacky glue. You're going to see this on my hobby gifts, not from a hobby store video. And this is from the dollar store. It's $1. It's tacky glue. It's a PVA glue. And what I do is I put it in a bottle like this you get on Amazon, and it has a brush in there, and you can just brush it on flat surfaces for holding your PE. It's great for that. While we're on the topic of glue, I have started using this Bob Smith Industries IC gel for gluing my photo etch. It grabs quickly, so you have a little less time, but it is thick. I can spread it with a toothpick. This has been very useful, along with my other glues. Also, if you want a little more working time, I use the Loctite Super Glue Ultra Gel Control. And while we're talking about super glues, let's talk about Zip Kicker. Everybody has their brand of Zip Kicker, but getting it applied to the spot without flooding it or spraying it or anything. This is a little bottle that takes a blunt syringe on the top of it, and I keep my Zip Kicker in here. And this is a very tiny blunt needle. It puts a very tiny drop out. But the kit I got comes with this entire box of different sizes, so you can go down even smaller or larger. I mean, that one is super tiny, and you'll get just the smallest drop. What's nice about this, it's very inexpensive. Very, very inexpensive. It goes down to 30 gauge. Somehow think, yeah, 30 gauge is the smallest it goes. So And you can get them smaller. You can get 36 gauge. I have some 36 gauge, which are super tiny. And you can use that on glue like your extra thin. This is super fast thin Starbond glue. I put one of those 36 gauge needles on here, and I get the smallest drop that flows into right under the PE, and I can get pinpoint accuracy with it. The tips don't survive very long, so if you're going to do a lot of gluing like that, I recommend doing it all one thing because your tip's pretty much shot after that. They come in boxes of, let's see here, yeah, see here's my 30s right here. They come in boxes of 50s for a couple dollars, but they're really good. They're really tiny. They give a little bitty drop. They work for the extra thin. They work for the zip kicker. And it gives you a lot more precise control of how much you're placing down on the surface. The 30 gauge I would only recommend for the extra thin or the super thin, because the medium and the thick does not like to go through one of these. It can, but it doesn't like to. But that's why the multi-kit is the best, because you can put a slightly bigger one on there and use a slightly thicker glue from like Zap, or like I said, I use the Starbond stuff. So that is great stuff. Another thing that is not glue related, but it is adhesion related, decals. I have always used Microsol, Microset, or the Mr. Hobby stuff. But recently I was messing around with this Vallejo decal kit, the medium and the decal fix, and I think it did a remarkable job. I think people overlook it because it's Vallejo and there's Microsol and Microset. I think this did a great job. This little combination, I was able to not only do it on painted surfaces but also on plastic with no surface, no prime surface or anything, just bare plastic. I was able to put some decals on with this, and it works on a matte or a flat coat finish. I didn't have to gloss it or semi-gloss. I didn't have to put any kind of finishing on it at all. I applied it right across the top of the matte acrylic paint, and it worked great. They sat great, and then I was able to put my coat over it, and it was fantastic. So that is decal wise. Now, on to the photo etch stuff. I have 3 tools here that I find very useful. This is a wax pencil. This is made of beeswax. It is a solid piece of beeswax with paper wrapped around it. Sharpen it with a hobby knife. You can sharpen it to whatever tip you want to sharpen it to. I have this one, and then I have a more pointed one that's a little bit different. But it's great for picking the photo etch up, off, and placing it. It's great for that. I also have gotten this one. It is a part picker. This one has this size tip on it, and it also has a larger one for larger surfaces. It's nice for picking and placing bigger parts, and then for sitting them in place, I got this little embossing thing with these balls on the end of it for $1 at the dollar store. Yeah, it's pink, but who cares? So that's good for picking and placing photo etch. Tweezers, everybody knows tweezers, should know that. Interesting thing I found on Amazon was these pen blades. This has got a number 15 blade. It is just like that, pops out, and then you click it back in. This is great for keeping my photo etch knife sharp without blunting the tip for when I cut the stuff out. It is great for that application. You get a 10-pack, and it'll last me a long time. So these are nice for that. They come with different, you can get 11, a 10, a 15. I've seen different ones. But this one, I use a 15 for my photo etch, so this works great. But it's nice to retract it. I can keep it in my little photo etch bin I have here. That just sits up over here. I can just grab it when I gotta put down some photo etch. On the lines of photo etch is cutting out photo etch. This is the little small shop or VCS photo etch cutting. It's a black piece of acrylic and a little acrylic holder, and you would put the holder down and cut the piece out with your number 15 or however you want to do it. I'm not going to go into great detail of how great this is. I like it. It's what I use. Everybody has their own ways of cutting out photo etch, and I don't want to start any issues saying that my way is number one. It works for me, and that's the method I use. I've used many different methods. I prefer this method. I like cutting on the black, I'll tell you that though. Cutting on the color black is fantastic. Okay, moving on to sanding. I have gotten some new sanding products from Infini Model. You've seen some other stuff from them on my channel. I've gotten the elastic sanding film. This stuff is nice. I got a piece right here. I cut off. This is 400 grit. It's got a little bit of stretch to it. It molds. It sands great. Clean it up with water. I got a piece of 220 and a piece of 400 here. This is a variety pack. It comes between 220 and 2500. They're small sheets for the price, but they seem to last. They have a great granular structure. The oxide they use, that they electrostatic induction on it. The oxide is fantastic. It's durable. It lasts. Like I said, it cleans up easy. I was so sold on this sanding film here that I started to try their sanding sticks. This is their zebra sticks. I got a variety pack of these. It came with a bunch of different grits. I'm using those two. And then I also am trying their sanding sponge sticks. These are fantastic. And I also have their sanding sponge. I will never buy another type of sanding sponge ever again. This sanding sponge is one of the best that I've seen in sanding sponges. I said that about Tamiya. I thought Tamiya sanding sponges were the bomb. But this, you get a variety pack from 220 to 4,000. And it's great. You can cut a little piece off, put it in some tweezers, and sand in tight spots. This is my new favorite. This is my new favorite sanding sponge. I enjoy it. I like it. I think it's a great tool. Last thing on sanding are these right here. These are these little sanding belt finish detail sanders, I think they're called, but they use a belt and a variety of grits. I have from coarse to fine. I think the black is like 1500, but for removing detail on 1/350th scale ships, I mean, you can come in here with like this, and you can just basically come in here and erase it. Use it like an eraser, and just erase the detail. Because it's a hard surface, you're not gonna round off the surrounding areas. And I mean, like I said, basically you could use it like an eraser. You can even come back here to the back part and just erase it like that. Come in here with a finer grit, and then, you know, there you go, and then hit it with a little bit of sponging, and I mean, you remove that detail. It's no big deal. It's not a video on removing detail, but these are great. They come in 4 packs on Amazon. There's a course set and a finishing set. I think they're great. It's just a nice product to have. Also taking off detail are these Mission Model micro chisels. I have a 1mm blade and a 2mm blade. These are nice for shaving off details. I've seen other people use them on their channels. I think Matt McDougall, he uses these. So I've seen him use them anyways. So these are, they're very nice, very sharp. I try to keep them that way, so I keep the caps on them. So it works out great. And then I've gotten some jewelry watch tweezers. These are watch tweezers used for working on watches, and I find that these work very well at not pinging the parts across the room. I got a set of them. They're a bunch of different sizes. Even got a little curve set here. These work great. I've been using these for all my photo etch and stuff like that, and things like that. Now, on to actual photo etch, and then I am going to, well, first, I want to talk about a power tool real quick, and then I will talk about the working with photo etch a little bit more. This right here, I picked this up. This is a Dremel Micro. It's great for quick things. It is a nice little tool. I use it for quick things. I use it for drilling out holes. If I have a lot of holes to drill, I don't want to use a pin vise. So it's nice. It's rechargeable. It's lightweight. It's nice. I don't use it as much as I use my jewelry rotary tool with the foot pedal. This I use more for removing detail and things like that, and I use the Dremel Micro more for drilling holes and various other items like sanding or things like this. And this I use mainly for removing detail and, with a carbide burr bit and things like that, detail in tight places and things like that. So, and that's going to be it on the power tools. Hopefully y'all seen my thing turning an electric screwdriver into a orbital sander. That is a orbital sander there. You can put Velcro on it. You can change the head with different grits and work quickly. I have a video on the channel. I'll try to link it in a card. Electric toothbrush into a sanding instrument. You can do it for as low as like $12 or $13 at Walmart, or you can get a rechargeable one that we just replaced ours. This is an old one that you can do great sanding. You could put these sponges on it. You could double stick tape anything on there. You can do a whole range and variety of things with an electric toothbrush as a little orbital sander. So, and I think it's like 15 millimeter in diameter is the pad size, so it's very small. Okay, photo etch now. And this is I'm gonna end on photo etch. Go-to bender for the photo etch I do is my medium of my Trumpeter Master Tools photo etch bender. I have the complete set. I have all three of them, but the medium I use the most. It has grab bars on the back. If you're only going to get one bender and you don't need to bend very long things, I recommend the medium. It's a great tool. So the photo etch bender, very useful. Also, I found with the tiny photo etch I've been dealing with these ships, these photo etch bending pliers from Tamiya, they are fantastic. Or bending tweezers, I'm sorry. These are called bending tweezers. I do have their bending pliers, but they're not like my top-rated tool. I don't think they're top-rated. If you need a bending pliers for cheap, these right here, they're flat, they're smooth on the inside. These come from the dollar store. They're square. They hold the part while you file off the nub. You can do a little bit of bending with them. They're great for $1. It's fantastic. You can even get them other places too. They're great for that. So we talked about glue. My file, my Tamiya diamond file for photo etch is just the way to go. So I am going to call it here. So guys, I'm going to put up my social media links. If you have any questions about these tools, I'm sorry I don't have links to these tools. There's so many, and some of them I had for years. I don't have the time to dig up all the links. I have a lot of projects going on, and we have the new channel rollout on the 1st, so be sure to check that out on the 1st. There's going to be a cool, just some cool stuff that you guys are going to see happening on the channel. A lot of it's already been implemented, but there's going to be some more awesome stuff, and some stuff that, well, I don't want to talk about it. So here's the links to social media. Check out that. I'm trying to be more active on my Instagram and my Twitter, posting pictures of what's on the bench every day. I'm hoping to get on that full time on the 1st of the year. And then, as always, you can visit my Patreon page for some exclusive content. I only have one Patreon, and thank you so much for supporting the channel. And if you guys want to support the channel, if I get some more Patreons, I'll start doing Patreon giveaways and tool only reviews for Patreon, maybe a video a month, or questions and answers live stream. You guys let me know what you want to see over there on Patreon. So that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys have a fantastic day.